Wanna fight Russia's new mysterious hypersonic nuke submarines with next-generation weapons? The nuclear-powered submarine Novosibirsk is the Project 885M, Yazan M, first serial-built vessel floated out on December 25, 2019. These submarines will carry Calibre PL and Onyx cruise missiles as their basic strike weapons. Eventually, they will be armed with Sircon hypersonic missiles. Russia is planning to arm its new Project 885M Yazan M submarine with hypersonic missiles, a move likely to impact the threat equation in a considerable way. Hypersonic weapons are extremely dangerous regardless of launch method, and there are numerous ongoing efforts to develop innovative ways of countering them. Stopping incoming missiles at 5 times the speed of sound presents quite a challenge for any force, and launching them from submarines presents additional threats. The new Russian nuclear-powered submarine carries Calibre PL and Onyx cruise missiles as their basic strike weapon. Adding hypersonic missiles could considerably change the threat equation. Unlike fixed land-launched hypersonic missile sites which can be identified in advance of an attack, submarines lurking beneath the ocean at an undisclosed location can make defending a hypersonic attack much more difficult. Attack submarines are increasingly equipped to perform clandestine reconnaissance missions as well, making them capable of potentially launching attacks from unknown or hidden locations. An attack approaching at hypersonic speeds from an unknown location could be extremely difficult to track or stop. Yet another factor to consider is the possibility that new Russian submarines may be incorporating new quieting technology. While little may be known about this, it certainly could be a possibility given the scope of technological advances in recent years. U.S. Navy Virginia-class attack submarines, for instance, have now incorporated a series of new modifications and technological adaptations to better enable them to patrol undetected. This can help them reach sensitive coastal areas for patrol less accessible to deeper draft surface ships. For example, new hypersonic missile-armed Russian submarines might be in a position to hold Eastern European NATO allies such as Albania and Bulgaria at risk from the Black Sea as incoming ocean-fired hypersonic weapons. The new hypersonic-armed submarine merely compounds an existing Russian submarine threat, which is considerable. Firing a hypersonic missile for a wide range of potential angles of attack from the ocean makes many more inland targets vulnerable, especially if the launch point is not found. Global firepower. Com reports that Russia operates as many as 64 submarines, and many of them are known for their sophistication in certain areas such as air-independent propulsion and other undersea warfare technologies. The Yazan class was intended to replace Russia's aging Akula-class nuclear-powered attack submarines. The first Yazan model, Syeverodvinsk, was laid down in 1993, but funding for the project sputtered in the decade following the Soviet collapse. By the time that a newly modernizing Russian Navy returned to finish the Syeverodvinsk in the late 2000s, large swathes of its avionics and other design features were outdated or verging on obsolescence. The Kremlin decided to relaunch the Yazan class under the Yazan M designation, implementing a slew of design tweaks and performance upgrades to account for the roughly 2-decade gap between Syeverodvinsk and the next Yazan submarine in line, Kazan. Yazan-class submarines have a submerged displacement of 13,800 tons and can reach a maximum speed of up to 35 knots. The Yazan M revision brings revamped onboard electronics, a slightly reduced overall length, and reportedly a new KTP-6 rector that is believed to reduce the submarine's noise levels. Although the U.S. Navy will likely continue to enjoy a submarine acoustic signature advantage over Russia for the foreseeable future, the Yazan class has done more to reduce this persistent noise level gap than any other nuclear-powered attack submarine in Soviet/Russian naval history. The submarine's vertical launching system supports up to 32 Onyx P-800 Onyx anti-ship cruise missiles or 40 caliber submarine-launched missiles. According to earlier, unconfirmed reports, these missiles can be salvo-launched. Yassin MS arsenal will be headlined by Russia's new 3M-22 Tsirkin-winged anti-ship hypersonic cruise missile, which has a top speed of up to Mach 9 and is capable of performing mid-flight evasive maneuvers. Russian defense experts believe that Tsirkin can credibly hold U.S. carrier strike groups, CSGs, at risk and substantially impede the effectiveness of carrier air wings. There are several different caliber variants to accommodate a wide range of missions and use cases. Yassin submarines will also reportedly support the upcoming Kalibr-M, a larger caliber version with nearly double the operational range at 4,500 kilometers. Krasnoyarsk is projected to enter service in Russia's Pacific Fleet by the end of 2022. The Russian Navy plans to commission a total of 8 Yassin M submarines through 2027. Russian hypersonic nuke submarines are running sinister deep penetration missions diving beyond 500 meters in the Atlantic Ocean. Tens of Vladimir Putin's Boryai-class nuclear subs have been plunging unusually far underwater in the Norwegian Sea. It is thought the vessel is capable of carrying new Zircon 3M-22 hypersonic missiles, which can cover 2.7 kilometers per second. A source told the Mirror, the reason for these extreme depth missions has eluded most analysts, but it could be simply to access the Atlantic with stealth. There has been an increase in Russian submarine activity of late, as there has with much of Moscow's armed forces as it tests the resolve of Nato. Russia is keen to exert as much power and influence as possible around the globe, in particular for the Northern Fleet, which is integral for passage into the Atlantic. Alarming. Normally Russian submarines would not go any deeper than 400 meters because at 900 meters these vessels could implode. Military expert Bruce Jones said, "The mood of Russian defense has been alarming for months now." That is highlighted by the recent military buildup close to the Ukraine border. This latest move could be aimed at posturing up against NATO just to make countries feel nervous. But it certainly marks an escalation, and now they appear to be turning their sights towards subsurface missions. During the G7 summit earlier this year, there were fears that a Russian cruise missile submarine may have been stalking the Cornish coast. Reports claimed that air forces were engaged in unusual operations in and around waters near to the event, sparking concerns that something was awry. The Sun reported that a £30 million ring of steel had been developed to protect those at the event, which includes the use of the HMS Prince of Wales warship. But according to the Washington Examiner, sea and air forces were engaged in separate operations to combat an alleged security threat posed by the Russians. This included heightened activity made by the U.S. Navy aircraft, British Sea and Air Forces, and French anti-submarine aircraft. Most notably, the publication reported that a Royal Air Force P-8 Poseidon was deployed 500 miles from its RAF Lossiemouth home base in Scotland, running search patterns at low altitude and speed in the area. It operated around and just outside the edges of Britain's 12-mile maritime border, leading to beliefs that it may have been tracking something specific. In 2019, Russia unveiled its first monster submarine dubbed Vladimir the Great. The Boryai-style nuclear ballistic missile submarine is capable of launching 20 intercontinental nuclear missiles, decimating cities almost 6,000 miles away. It has been labeled the deadliest submarine on the planet.